Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call a meeting to order and discuss our plan for Thursday. We have an invocation by Pastor Rolls of God is Good Church for our agenda on Thursday, as well as the acceptance of the agenda. Pledge of allegiance by Councilwoman Jackson.
It's her favorite.
It's your favorite thing to do.
Favorite.
Plus, we have this councilman presentation and awards of proclamation declaring September 14th through the 20th as Minority Enterprise Development Week. Mr. Boone will be here, as well as, well, Diana will be here as well. And then we have a city manager report. He is cruising the glaciers, but ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor McCaw. I don't have a report this afternoon, but I will have one on Thursday.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'll continue with the consent agenda. Are there any questions, discussion items for the consent agenda? None? All right. We'll go to our public hearing. Resolutions 2025-071. Staff report, Ms. Adams.
Mayor McCaw, members of council. One of the things that the city clerk's office does is issue business licenses on behalf of the city of Sierra Vista. We have been in the process for the last couple of years of looking through the city ordinance that relates to the issuance of business licenses for brick and mortar, home-based, and transient businesses. And we basically came to the conclusion there was a lot in there that didn't need to be in there because it's duplicative of community development and code enforcement type of language in their own code. And there was just a lot of stuff that we didn't do anymore. And so we took this opportunity to fine-tune things, slim it down, take out some of the onerous provisions like peddlers requiring bonds of each and every peddler. Companies really resisted that, and they really chose often not to come down here, or they would just come without doing it and break the law. So we decided to make it easy on everybody and kind of make things a little cleaner and a little clearer. The last time that we did an update was when the city reduced the fee for business licenses, and that was over 12 years ago. So this time, basically, it's just clean up and slim down and make it a little more efficient. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you were all provided with A, a clean copy, and B, a marked up copy that tells you all the changes. There's nothing really dramatic. It's just making it mirror what we actually do on a day-to-day basis with the businesses here in town.
Excellent. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jill, when I was looking at it, and the changes appear to be more than just administrative. Some of them actually cut out entire large paragraphs. So most of them I understood that it was streamlining the document, but one of them, I was looking on it online, not this version of it, but it looked like it actually, this version waived fees for, I think, nonprofits and churches.
Correct.
I didn't find where that came from somewhere else. So how did that actually get put into the document in the first place?
We have waived fees for religious organizations and nonprofits forever.
Makes sense, but
yes.
How were we authorized to do it in the past that it made it into the document when you revised it?
That has just been practice. I can't honestly say whether it was ever in the document before, but it has been practiced since before me, and we did feel that we needed to codify that so that it was clear to the different organizations out there who is exempt and who is not exempt from the fees.
So that it's kind of what I thought it was, what I expected it was to the group. Does that make sense that we just kind of run the city through verbal?
Well, now it's done.
Yeah, now it's actually put in. So how many other lines have we put in, stuff that we had been doing that wasn't codified?
I can't honestly word for word tell you that on this. The business licensing procedures over the years have been subject to some interpretation, usually with on the advice of the attorney. That is one of the reasons that we changed up the solicitor licenses so dramatically, because that has just been a problem from the get-go, and we have a problem, people raise questions, we talk to the attorney, we get his opinion, and that's what we generally go on. It's not uncommon, as you know, in practice to exempt nonprofits and
Right.
religious, and it was just felt that it was time that we put that in there and codify it, kind of like the statement that we don't make people under the age of 18 get a license. We kind of sort of did that before, and there's wiggle room on that because you can have an individual under 18 who's operating a business that should have a business license, but we're just making it easier by making this statement going forward. So we're kind of trying to clean up and catch things. And I can certainly check, Jessica and Nathan did a lot of the writing on this, and I can certainly see if there's anything else that they did. But yeah, over the years, again, there are gray areas. These rules, why they're generally fairly clear, there are always situations and questions that the city attorney guides us, and sometimes it's not how it's written.
Yeah. So do we have like some sort of parallel documents that we use in practice when somebody comes in for a license? How do they know? Whoever they come in and they're talking to, how do they know that this person's exempt? Besides saying, well, you gave them an exemption last time, and we didn't have anything to show.
Right. We don't, and we have had some questions because there's groups that are exempt, like insurance
Right, I saw that one
brokers
too.
are,
They don't have to
they're
carry a
exempt by
bond.
statute. So we shouldn't even need to put that in our business license paperwork, but we do, and we are, because people don't know that. And so we're trying to catch all of those things.
Right,
You know, the past is the past. We used to issue licenses to hobby people and waive the fee on those, and that used to be in the ordinance. We don't do that anymore because we have a free vendor license, which really applies to most of the hobby people. But because of the amount of gray area, especially in the exemption arena, it was just easier for us to just say religious and certified
right.
nonprofits. So we cleaned it up, and now there is no question.
Yeah, that one is easy to understand. Then my other question was, there is a lot of red lines in here.
Right.
Typically, the red lines get added to add clarification because of the various nuances people will find and the loopholes people will find. Okay, got to add this, close this loophole in the ordinance, or this loophole in the ordinance. And then, of course, the ordinances get long.
Sure.
And now we're cutting them back down. Are we opening ourselves up for interpretation again and confusion again by
I think not
clarifying and
really.
simplifying?
A lot of what is redlined out, like the very large section that relates to the carnivals that
Yeah.
come to town, those are really regulated by community development through the conditional use permit process. They should have never been in the business license section at all.
So we
But-
found those in someplace else
So
then
they
during
are
the process.
elsewhere in our code, because the business license code has nothing to do with the fire marshal going out and checking a tent, or whether the zoning is appropriate, or access, or anything like that. We don't have jurisdiction, we don't have anything, but they do. So that is part of their code, and having it where it was in our code actually makes it more confusing because we can't do anything about it. And then we have to go with them. And we do have that in our code, and as we go through code throughout the whole big book, we do find there is duplication. There is restatement of state law, which we should never have to do in a code because it's law, and the state law is higher than our laws. So,
Right.
and so that's kind of, there is some rephrasing in hopes of clarifying things. But to be honest, if you're doing business in the city, you have to get a business license. And it costs you or it doesn't cost you. There are some zoning stuff that does kind of bleed between the two departments because they have to get either a home-based business permit, or they have to get a zoning compliance permit from community development. That's part of the process in approving the license, and we work with them on that. But we really are trying to get it down to simply that. If you're doing business, you need to have a license.
Okay, so I think you indirectly answered my next question, and that was cost, in that it says this is no cost to the to the city in implementing these changes. So I guess right now, there's no cost to the city.
Right.
For example, waiving fees is a cost to the city, but
It's not a
Fine.
it's not a fee, it's not a dollar that we are going to miss because we weren't collecting it.
we weren't doing it
Yeah,
anyway,
ultimately,
yeah.
the only cost to this actual change will be a year from now when we codify and we print new code books. But doing this itself, no business out there that was gonna get a fee is not gonna get feed. This really does represent what we have practiced, and so there is no
so we're
changing
codifying what
the-
we're doing.
Correct.
And so now we can count on, for at least for business licenses, we don't have an informal guide.
Right.
And we'll be actually following our formal guide.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was under the impression from the initial memo that you're doing this with all the ordinances.
Slowly but surely, we have different departments. Laura's always going through her Parks Department. Victoria's been going through the different administrative. Matt's department is always going through their code and fine tuning it. And a lot of our codes have not been updated in many years. And some of them need it, some of them don't. And it is a process that is being worked through as we can. Yes.
So how does this affect, I'm sorry, I'm taking a lot of time,
That's okay.
but the document, when we voted on the consolidation of the code 2 meetings ago, of the overall city ordinances,
Mm-hmm.
how does this affect that? I thought we set those in stone and
Right.
then we're going to be moving on.
Well, what happens when you vote on code, and we're doing the 30-day public comment period, and then this will come back to you as an ordinance? That ordinance, if it passes, 30 days after the date of passage, becomes law. If you go to the website and you look at the electronic code of ordinances, this will be in there. But only once a year do we actually go through the process of codifying, and then we order, because there are about towns, not very many anymore because people don't use them, hard copy paper books, and that is the official record. That doesn't affect when they go into play. That doesn't affect. That is all based on the passage, not the codification. The codification is just a nice tie it up in a bow and finish a period of time. It has no bearing whatsoever on the code being effective or used.
So for my clarification now, are we codifying this? Or?
No, this is the first one.
Okay.
So 30-day public comment period, so this will probably come back to you in October at a meeting
Okay.
as an ordinance. If you pass it in October, then 30 days from then, it will become city law.
So this is almost like a draft that we're agreeing to the draft that goes to public comment.
Absolutely, this
Okay, I
is,
missed that
this is put out there for comment, your comment, public comment, changes, additions, deletions, that this is the time period where we're asking people, because we do this, and we do this every day, so we have a fairly comfortable knowledge level, but you ask very good questions that may make us think, oh, well, maybe we need to tweak this a little bit. And this is the period of time whenever we do an ordinance that has a public comment period, that's your comment period too, and that's the time where we can actually rework it a little bit if it needs it. So when it comes back as an ordinance, we say, here it is, and these are the changes we made based on the input we received after we opened the public comment period.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more?
I just had something.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, it's Councilman Rodriguez, guys. Just real quick, Joe, I think it's 11.04 of the exemptions. I like that, obviously, it's great that we offer up to 6 free permits of the year. It's just the wording of the next line is maybe a little confusing, where it says, like, if you're gonna do 6 or more, you need to get a regular permit. I just don't want anybody to get confused when they get to that number 6. Obviously, I think 6 is the cutoff, so I think maybe if it says like more than 6 instead of 6 or more,
Or
it
7.
may be less confusing. Right, or 7 plus maybe. And then my next thing was, generally for these, because I looked at the submission online and, you gotta submit some documents. What is the general turnaround for this? And is this something that you do or yourself?
The issuance of the business licenses, I don't do a lot of it, but I do know how. I'm so proud of myself. It's a new, it's a new system. Jessica in my office is the person who, she is our business license queen. Our turnaround is generally less than a week, usually a couple of days. Sometimes if the location has to be inspected and if there were any issues with the location for the zoning compliance, that may stretch it a little longer. But most people who come in get them the same week that they submit their application form.
Okay, that's great. Just, get information to know if we're out and about in the community and we have an event coming up and we have vendors that are looking to, maybe for their first time, they want to sell something. Sure. If I know, like, hey, you probably want to put this in sooner than later, type thing.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
those one-day free vendor permits, we issue those basically on the spot. And actually, Allison down at Leisure is also authorized to issue those. So people who are coming in, especially for like Art in the Park, and they're going to be here and that's the only day they come, they get that. They can practically get it the same day that they come in, if there's someone here to
Perfect, thank
sign it.
Thank you, Jim.
Miss Jill.
Yes.
One question, well, my added question. Is it free for vendors or is it only free for 17 and below nonprofit?
No, okay, for free licenses are nonprofit, religious, other exempted ones are government, that are federal government strictly. There's a lot of different groups. What we offer, it's called a vendor permit, and it's like a single event permit, and we do not charge for that. We used to charge $5, but we kind of figured that was just silly. So that's the one where people can use up to 6 because it's meant to be infrequent, where they just come in for Art in the Park and they fill out, and it's a half a page of information and we sign off on it. So it just, the main thing of our business license program is not to enforce anything or not to be Big Brother. It's to get information on what businesses are out there, where they're operating, that they're in safe locations for the business they're operating. So, it helps because people who get the vendor permit also get some other information, because a lot of times these single things, they're not familiar with sales tax, they're not familiar with the local area. And so it allows us to give them a little information in addition to giving their permit. And we have a better idea who's coming through town doing business. And that's why we collect it more than anything else, is to provide Tony and his folks with some information on who's doing business in Sierra Vista.
Thank
Any
you.
more questions? Good questions. Okay, all right. Thank you, ma'am. We'll go to our next item number 4. Is Resolution 2025-072, donation of surplus ambulance to our sister city, Cananea. Staff report, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm Helen Lee, the Chief Procurement Officer. The Procurement Division has in its possession for surplus the 2009 ambulance. It's a Ford E450 ambulance. It's been deemed no longer usable for the city, and it's already been replaced. We have a great working relationship with our sister city, Cananea. We have identified this particular vehicle as a good candidate for donation to them. So this resolution is to do just that. We estimate that it's worth probably between $10,000 and $15,000 is what we would get on it from surplus, but obviously Cananea would get more than that out of it. So that's one reason why we identified it for them. They will be in charge, if approved, they will be in charge of making sure that it gets transferred safely across the line and put into service, hopefully, pretty soon. So, do you have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
So I'm a little confused. I have a couple of biological adult sisters, but I don't give them my cars when I'm done using them. So, I trade or sell them when I'm done for their equity. You just said that there's 10 to 15,000. I mean, are we in a position now where we feel comfortable that we can just give $10,000 to $15,000 away like that? I mean, this vehicle's 16 years old. How come we didn't sell it earlier when it was worth potentially more at auction? When was that vehicle replaced?
It was replaced, I believe, earlier this year.
Okay.
And we have a couple of other ambulances we have one more that's on order this year. This one, it actually ran well, but the rear suspension system on it is no longer working very well, and it has to be manually cranked. So that's one of the reasons why it's been decommissioned. We do have a schedule that our fleet division uses to identify what vehicles are in running conditions and which ones need to be replaced. That priority is set by the Public Works Department. Sorry.
I'm just kind of curious. I mean, because everyone knows that I'm one of the newer council members here, but do we frequently give our excess vehicles to Cananea?
Yes, they're our sister city.
Right.
This is a normal practice for the city of Sierra Vista. We have given them 2023, is it 22, that we gave them 8 vehicles?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city's got a long-standing partnership with its sister city, Cananea, and has donated a number of vehicles over the years, going back quite a ways. In 2023, we did donate 8 surplus vehicles and a dispatch console. That might have been another year, Pat.
That was
Previous to that.
Do we get anything in return for that?
No, it's really a gesture of goodwill. Previous councils felt that it was important to maintain the relationship in that way, and Cananea does find good use for these vehicles, and they are very valuable to them. These are vehicles that come out of our fleet on a regular basis. So these are things that already rotated out of our fleet. Like this ambulance came out, it finished service this past year, Chief, and was replaced by a new ambulance. So we had already planned to take this out of our fleet. We don't take them out in anticipation of donating them. They're already coming out. So it's something that council has supported in the past, and we are just continuing that tradition.
And last year when Mayor Pro Tem and I went down there for their September 14th celebration, we saw one of the old fire trucks that we had donated years and years back. So they are using those vehicles that we donate to them pretty regularly.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Mr. Mayor. So I'd like to follow on with Brian's questions. We're in a period of declining revenue in the city. $10,000 to $15,000 is not a little bit of money. And it's not a surprise. In typical fleet management programs, when a vehicle exits, they program that cost, any residual value, back into the purchase of the other vehicle. I'm not questioning the need to buy the new vehicle, but I am questioning giving away $10,000 to $15,000 to another country. I mean, I can think off the top of my head, how the city of Sierra Vista could spend $10,000 to $15,000 internally. Well, we don't have money for that. Well, because we gave some of that money to Mexico. So I guess I'm very concerned that we have a tradition of giving away taxpayer money to charity when we don't even give taxpayer money to charity within the city, within our very own city, and to think that this isn't chump change and it's not budget dust. And we all know that nickels and dimes add up to dollars when we're doing it a lot. We just found out from Mr. Mayor that we've done it in the past. We do it a lot, and it seems to me that that's a lot of money to be given to somebody else when we can make better use of it within our own city. And when we ask the staff to remain flat on their budgets, and at the same time we're giving money to other countries, that's the federal government's thing. I understand goodwill is good with our Mexican neighbors, but at what cost? I was trying to think of the analogy to use. I don't give my vehicles to my sister either, unless I sell it to them. So I guess that's my 2 cents going into tomorrow.
Well, and I kind of, I know we're bouncing back and forth, but I don't want to digress too much. But one of the things is like this ambulance that we just replaced that ambulance with. I mean, are we going to hold on to it for 16 years and then give it away? Or do we have a plan where we're going to hold on to it until we're ready to get another ambulance, and then we're going to sell it at an optimum time when it's worth, something in the marketplace so we can recoup the equity out of it? That's my question.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Myers, typically we used vehicles until the end of their useful life. And so it's really not a consideration of using them until they have more value to send them to auction. Our first priority is using them until they are no longer usable to us or would cost more to repair than to replace. These ambulances the ambulance that replaced this was something that had been scheduled or on our fleet schedule for some time. They also take a very long time to order and come in. So, and the fire department also has several ambulances in reserve, Chief.
Yes, we do, Mayor McCaw, Councilman Myers. We do have 2 ambulances in reserve, and as Assistant Manager Yarborough said, it takes almost 2 years for an ambulance to come in. Public Works creates a schedule for replacement of all vehicles, and that's the way the process works for us.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, we're certainly not advocating to donate these vehicles to Cananea. It's simply a practice that has been done over many years. $10,000 to $15,000 wouldn't break our budget, but it is, as always, up to council and your decision.
I have a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Okay,
Hey, this is Councilman Rodriguez.
Just a minute, Councilmember. So the last time we tried to make a donation, the new mayor, she was unable to receive those cars, and they ended up going to auction, I'm assuming. I don't know what happened since she couldn't.
Mayor Pro Tem Humphrey, there was one vehicle in the last batch that Cananea could not accept, and so we did send that to auction.
Right. So we haven't been able to help out in very recent years. It was a different mayor last time when
Different
we made
mayor.
the donation of the old dispatch consoles or tables, whatever they were.
Our last donation were vehicles.
Oh, okay. So, and I can tell you that based on what we've seen, they're operating on like a shoestring budget. They have, I mean, I know we feel like we're struggling with what we have, but they have so little and really can't afford, they wouldn't be able to afford this otherwise. But they have a population of people that regularly come up here and spend money, and when they get their bonuses in May, they spend it all in Sierra Vista. And we see that when we see our tax numbers from the month of May. So I'm just, it's we are helping them, but we are helping ourselves as well. That makes sense.
Yes, ma'am.
So I guess my question would be, so we have the option to either donate it or auction it off, correct?
Yes.
With that being said, when we donate it, do we give them a set time frame of keeping that vehicle, or can they just sell it whenever they want to? Or is there anything that's tagged to that once we donate that to them?
It's released.
It's just released, they can just do whatever. So they can actually, once they get, they can actually auction it too and get the funding, correct?
Mr.
At that
Mayor,
point, it belongs to them, right?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Jackson, yes, because once we give it to them, they take over ownership of those vehicles. So what they do with those vehicles after that transaction is up to them.
Got you.
But what we have seen in practice is that they are using the vehicles.
We've seen them done.
Mark, you had a question? Councilman Rodriguez,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, you kind of covered some of the points already, Mayor Pro Tem. Just obviously, just our sister city is a huge deal for us as a city. I don't know, some of you guys are new and you probably haven't, maybe not looked into it as much as I can. I'd recommend you go to the 9/11 ceremony on Thursday, because Cananea normally sends their firefighters up for that ceremony. That's how good of a partner they are. They come up for training. They offer training. They just had an all-female firefighter event down in Cananea, which was another amazing event. And I looked into this when I first came on council too, like asking like, how much do we really get when we auction these things? Yeah, there's an estimated value, but that's not what they get at auction. And nobody's gonna put those vehicles back into service once we're done with them, because if you go around to the stations and look at all the vehicles and how many miles they have on them, no other city is really gonna take it in the US and actually put it back into service. It would be way more expensive to get it up to code. So that's why it's really serves its purpose again. It gets more life out of it as a first responder vehicle in a different country, because they definitely have different standards, and it works for them. And so I think that's why the practice has worked out for a good while in that case, and they definitely put them to use. Thanks.
And I think I'm just trying to look at it through the lens of the normal taxpayer in the city who is working day to day and paying their taxes in this city, and is looking at us on this council to make the decisions and how the money in this coffer is being spent. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'd have to do a little more research of this, and duly noted, Councilman Rodriguez, about doing a little more research into our sister city. I mean, I've heard for the last 20 years that Cananea is a sister city, but I've just got myself some personal reservations about giving off equipment. And it's not so much whether or not the rig can be put back in service as it can be sold, and 10 to 15,000 can be put back in our coffers. That's what I'm more concerned about. That's it.
Got it. Yes, sir. Any more questions, discussion items? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Then we have a call to the public and comments from the council. And we are adjourned, and then going down to Station 3 for the 9/11 remembrance. And on tonight, we don't have no presentations, so we go to item number Bravo, report on recent trips, meetings, and future meetings.
I know I have something. Oh, okay. Tomorrow I have Arts, Humanities, and Cultural Diversity at 4:30, Oscar Urine Community Center. Our Neighborhoods Commission meeting was canceled this month. I don't have a report on that.
And 9/9, are you going to the Parks and Recs?
I'm going to Parks and Recs tonight, and then tomorrow I was going to the commission meeting. And did you want to offload any of the, because I know you took a bunch of them when Jones left. Did you want to offload any of those? To me, I was going to probably attend, especially neighborhoods. Actually, you're not neighborhoods, but.
Well, she is neighborhoods.
You are neighborhoods,
Yeah,
okay.
that's her baby.
So,
But that's okay.
I was gonna
we can
attend
have-
anyway,
we can
but-
talk. Yeah, thank you.
And for me, just a reminder, I will be in DC the week of the 21st and return on the 29th.
All right,
So I will have to phone in for our sessions.
excellent. And I'll be in Huntsville, getting a spacesuit. I'm getting a spacesuit for, what's his name?
Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger helmet though.
Oh, yeah, I'm needing a bigger helmet. Let's see, item number Charlie, future discussions items and council requests, ma'am?
Thank you, Mayor McCaw. We've got several presentations scheduled for upcoming work sessions. There'll be an update on the energy savings project at the golf course on September 23rd, your next work session. We shifted the presentation on golf course clubhouse renovations to October 7th due to your request, since you won't be here at the next work session. And then we will also have the commission review and discussion that Mr. Kilmurray requested scheduled in October.
Excellent. All right. Any more discussion items? We will see you on Thursday. We're adjourned.